Mark chapter 2. And again, having come into Capernaum after some days, it was heard that he was in a dwelling site. Many were led together, so that there was no more room, but also not to the door. And he spoke to them the word. And some came bringing to him a paralytic, one being lifted up by four. And not being able to bring him to him because of the throng, they unroofed the roof there where he was, and by digging out roof tiles, they sank down the mat whereon the paralytic lay down. And Jesus, having perceived their faithing, says to the paralytic, My child, your faillances have been remitted. But some of the scribes were there having seat, and they were over considering thoroughly in their hearts. What does this one speak thus? He blasphemes. Who is able to remit faillances except one, the God? And straightway, Jesus having unknown in his spirit that thus they overconsider thoroughly in themselves, say to them, What do you overconsider thoroughly this in your hearts? What is easier to say to the paralytic, Your faillances are remitted? Or to say, Raise yourself up and lift your mat and go away? But that you may perceive that the Son of the human has authority on the earthland to remit faillances. Therefore it is. And he says to the paralytic, Raise yourself up. I say to you, lift your mat and go away into your dwelling site. And he was raised up, and straightway lifting the mat, he came out in front of all, so that they were all shocked, and glorified God, saying, Thus was never anything made to appear in Israel. And they came out again towards the sea, and all the throngs came to them, and he taught them. And as one passing by, he perceived Levi, the son of Alphaeus, having seat on in the duty office, and says to him, Follow me. And rising, he followed him. And it came to be that he lay down to supper in his house, and many duty collectors and failors lay up at supper together with Jesus, also scribes of the Pharisees. And having perceived that he ate with the duty collectors and failors, they said to his learning ones, Wherefore does your teacher eat with duty collectors and failors? And Jesus, hearing this, says to them, Those being strong have not need of the healer, but for this cause, those having it badly. I did not come to call righteous, but failers. And the learning ones of John and the Pharisees were fasting ones. And they come and say to him, Wherefore do the learning ones of John and the learning ones of the Pharisees fast, but your learning ones do not fast? And Jesus says to them, The sons of the bride chamber are not able to fast, for as long a time as they have the bridegroom with them, they are not able to fast. But the days will come when, as it were, the bridegroom will be lifted away from them, and then they will fast in that day. Not one sews on a patch of an unfulled rag on an old raiment, otherwise he lifts away the completion from it, yea, the new from the old, and the tear becomes worse. And not one cast sheds young wine into old wineskins, otherwise the wine will rend the wineskins, and the wine will be spilled out, and the wineskin parts will wholly loosen themselves away. But for this cause, but young wine one has as cast sheddable into new wineskins. And it became to be that he, in the Sabbath terms, went by through the sown fields, and his learning ones, Origen, began to make their way, as one's plucking off the ears of grain. And the Pharisees said to him, Perceive what they do in the Sabbath terms, which is not allowed. And he says to them, Have you never read what David did when he had need, and yea, he hungered, and those with him? How he came into the dwelling site of God on at the archpriest Abiathar, and ate the bread of the setting forth, which was not allowed to eat except to the priests, and he gave it also to those being together with him? And he said to them, The Sabbath became to be because of the human, and not did the human come to be because of the Sabbath, so that the Son of the human is also Lord of the Sabbath.